We're going to read out of another book today. I don't think I've read out of a book yet this year on a satsang, but it's one that is very dear to me. I would consider it as most likely the most top shelf book of knowledge there is. And it's known as Guru Vachaka Kovai. And that stands for the garland of the Guru's teachings. So it's 1,254 verses that were written down by Ramana Maharshi's longest sage by the name of Muruganar. And Muruganar spent 28 years next to Ramana Maharshi, and he wrote down almost everything Ramana said into these verses. And he wrote down nearly 30,000 verses over the course of his life. And this is 1,254 of them. And they're strung together in a garland that a devotee wears around its neck. They can wear around their neck to remind them of two main things. What is it we're after? And how do we attain that? That's what this entire book, we could say, is drop down into those two aspects of the path. How do we conceptually and intellectually start to understand what this means? And then once we start to understand what that means, how do we experience that more and more in our daily life? So I'm going to read 3 verses out of here, and we'll link them together. So the first verse I'm going to read is 796, and it's under the title of Peace. There is no fortune greater than peace. There is no force greater than peace. There is no excellent worship greater than peace. There is no immortal life greater than living in peace. Peace is the utmost experience that we are all after. All 8 billion of us are seeking this in our own unique ways. We might not realize it at first, that all of our successes and achievements and all of our, you could say, physical attainments, these are all in the search for one thing: to find the perfect experience, the perfect situation in which permanent peace is experienced for the rest of our life. And we're all on this trek to find this permanent experience of peace. Muruganar has a note underneath this. He says, what is here called peace is the state of stillness of mind. So he's defining peace. What is peace? The stillness of mind. So when we distill the mind down to the utmost experience of stillness, paradoxically, there is no more mind. It's just the experience of peace. And then he goes on to say how to get it. This can be achieved only by unceasing inquiry. So he defines peace and he tells you how to get it. What is it? The absence of the movement of mind And that absence of movement is stillness, which is experienced as peace. And we attain that through unceasing self-inquiry. He goes on, when the mind knows that in truth there is nothing to reject or to accept, it will lose its movements and will abide in supreme peace. So when the mind loses its movements, is the experience of stillness or supreme peace. Since such peace is the seed of the natural state, it is therefore extolled as immortal life. So peace is our natural state of being. It's what we're all seeking. And when we experience that, that's experienced as immortal life. Because what is another word for immortal? Permanence. It's the permanent experience of peace that we're also longing to experience and then carry that into our day-to-day. So we could say the entire book is wrapped up in these two statements. But because the mind is, it's insatiable, especially at first, it needs 1254 plus 30 other books and 500 videos and podcasts, and that's okay. But this is it. It's distilled down into this. This is what peace is, and this is how we attain it. I'm going to drop back into some earlier statements. 290, peace of mind, which in Sanskrit is known as shanti, which is desired by everyone, is not attained by anyone, anywhere, through any means, except through the grace of the Guru. I'm going to come back and describe what grace of the Guru is. Therefore, those who want peace should continuously inquire and seek alone that grace in the heart with their entire mind. Okay, so again, he's repeating himself here in just different words. What is peace of mind that we all desire? How do we attain that? Through the grace of the Guru. Meaning, what is the Guru? Well, throughout this book, it also describes what the Guru is. The Guru is that which shines in your heart as I am. You are the Guru you seek. I am is the Guru. How do we attain that? Continuous inquiry into I am. And seek alone that grace in the heart. Heart is just another word for I am. The grace of the Guru is another word for heart. These are all just words to describe the self. And how do we attain that? Through unceasing self-enquiry. You will never know the truth until you turn within. You will never encounter or have the ability to encounter that permanent experience of peace that we're after. And then 291. This is the definitive advice for those who desire to gain redemption. Again, redemption would be the permanent experience of peace. Like the tortoise that retracts its 5 limbs, restrain and withdraw the 5 senses. Turn your mind towards the self and remain absorbed in it. This alone is happiness. So he's giving a description of what self-enquiry could be experienced as. So we can all visualize the tortoise pulling in its limbs and head into its shell. Well, that's what it's likened to pull our five senses into our heart. He's trying to describe what might be experienced in self-enquiry. He's giving you a visualization on what you're trying to do, which is, it's not a doing, it's an undoing that turns your mind towards the self. And once your mind is turned towards the self, you will remain absorbed in it. And this alone is happiness. This is the permanence that we seek. This is the importance of books as such as this, is that as you turn your mind within in self-inquiry to go on the journey to remember what has always been, you're going to experience this journeyless journey in your own ways. And if you're reading books such as this along the path, then you're relating to, you're like, oh, I get what he means when he says retract my senses like a tortoise. And so reading along as you're inquiring, especially books that are specific to self-inquiry, like this one, there's few of them. This, I would say, would be one of the main ones. Helps reassure you that you're doing it right. And because of your own conditioning, there's only one right path back home, which is specific to you. We could visualize it as there's 8 billion paths back to self. And you can only know one of those. So Guru Vachaka Kovai says, what is it we're after? How do we attain what we're after? And once you've set down the journey, you can then come back to the teachings and align yourself with them, or to see if you're aligned with the teachings. So again, it's another like circular journey back into that which has ever been, which is the grand paradox. You've never left yourself. You're just remembering that. But the mind, believing that it's an epic adventure, which it is to a mind, needs all sorts of reassuring that this is it. Why don't we do what the sages suggest and turn our attention inward? Allow everything to be as it is. Regardless of what is going through your mind, regardless of what you're experiencing with your body, and regardless of what you're perceiving with your five senses, just let them be, for they are perfectly happening as themselves. Notice the absence of physical movement. Guided meditation could be considered doing nothing, especially in the physical form. For the body is just sitting here in the absence of movement. Even though we are doing nothing, there's still a sense within us that is taking credit for doing the nothing. What is this one, this sensation within us that is taking credit for doing nothing? There is a sense within us, a feeling that I am in this body. We could say it's a belief and a feeling. I feel as if I'm in here, and I believe that I am in here. And we could say that this is a sense. We sense this, the sense of I. This is the me. It's a contraction of energy. We cannot deny this sense. This sense could also be described as the ego, the person, the individual you've taken yourself to be. We don't deny this. We don't deny our sense of individualism. For it is our experience. Can you pinpoint this sense? Can you experience what I'm pointing to? Internally, do you experience the sense of I? Ask yourself the question, am I aware? Notice that the answer is an absolute yes. Yes, I am aware. If you know anything at all, you know that you are aware. It's inescapable knowledge. Awareness is a non-dual experience. So here we have the experience of the sense of I, the me, and also the acknowledgement and the experience that I am aware. From the individual's point of view, awareness is an attribute of the me. It's a secondary aspect of it. For the individual believes that it came first and awareness second. This is duality. This is where all discontentment arises from. Self-enquiry is the continuation of asking yourself, am I aware? And probing into the experience of awareness. It's bridging the sense of I, the contracted sense of me, into the expansiveness of awareness. And because we are so conditioned in the belief and the feeling that I am an individual, it requires unceasing inquiry into your experience of awareness so that you start to experience awareness more and more, which means you're experiencing the sense of individual less and less. This bridging from the individual into the supreme peace of awareness is your unique journey. Nobody can embark on this journey except you. It is the most epic, courageous journey any individual can embark on. Setting sail on this journey means retracting your five senses into yourself like a tortoise would retract its limbs into its shell. Yet, what is paradoxical about this retracting, this pulling within, this turning within, is that it doesn't lead to more and more bondage. It leads to infinite expansiveness. It leads to the permanence of the one awareness, which only knows itself as peace. This is immortal life. The immortal experience of awareness is the peace you seek. For awareness has no second. There's nothing other than awareness. And because of this, there's not one thing that can agitate another, which it allows it to have the experience of lasting peace and contentment. So acknowledge the sense of individual, the me. And also acknowledge that you are aware, and awareness is an experience as well. And your journey is understanding what it means to bridge from the contracted individual into the uncontractedness of awareness. Unceasingly hold your attention on awareness and abide permanently there. And you will attain everything you've been searching for your entire life. Which is Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Feel free to start asking any questions if you'd like.